is going to be a special one because I'm joined by 5 super inspiring people from the cloud community. We have Prasad, Ashish, Julie, Neil, and Sammy. We're going to hear about their career experiences, the challenges they faced, as well as any strategies and tips that have helped them along their cloud journey. So before we get started, please let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. So I'm based in Sydney, and our panelists are joining from all around the world. Also, comment below where you are on your cloud learning journey. Are you a beginner, or are you someone who's been in cloud for a few years now? I wanted to mention as well that we have some exciting giveaways for all of you who are tuning in live. In the chat, you should see a sign-up form to enter a draw for some cloud learning resources from WizLabs and Digital Cloud Training. So 10 lucky winners will get 6 months of free access to WizLabs AWS Sandbox, and another 10 will get 12 months of access to the AWS Cloud Practitioner Ultimate Training Package from Digital Cloud Training. So 20 prizes up for grabs, and winners will be randomly selected and contacted after the live stream. Okay, with all that being said, let's get started. So to kick things off, I'd like each of our panelists to introduce themselves. Maybe we can start from the top and then we can go down to the bottom row as well, just from left to right. So starting off with Ashish, could you tell us a bit about yourself, your role in cloud, and how you got to where you are now?
Thanks, Lucy, for having me. And obviously, this is a good privilege to have names starting with A so that you get first. And it's good and bad in some cases. I would start. My name is Ashish, and I'm a technical trainer in AWS. Been working in cloud technologies from around 8 years now. Previously in private cloud, VMware, and now in AWS. And I do deliver technical training on a day-to-day basis. That is my day job. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks for joining today. Next, we have Julie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Elkins. I started out my cloud journey back in 2018. I got a job at Linux Academy in 2019 and just have continued to kind of roll since then. I am now a senior exam prep curriculum developer at AWS. So I create all of the exam prep content for the AWS certifications on the AWS exam prep team. Excited to be here. Nice to meet you virtually, Lucy.
Cool. Thanks for joining today. Neil.
Thanks, Lucy. Yeah, hi, everyone. So I'm Neil Davis. I'm founder of Digital Cloud Training. I started my IT career back in the late 90s, so roughly sort of 25 years ago now. So on some very early technology, I used certifications to get into the industry and then ended up as a solutions architect working in consulting roles. About 5 years ago, I then sort of switched gears a little bit and decided to take up training. So now I run the training company, Digital Cloud Training, and we teach people all over the world.
Nice. Okay. Sammy?
Hi, my name is Sammy Chung. I am a cloud evangelist. Right now, I work as a principal solution architect. Have been in IT about 30 years and have been actively doing my cloud journey in the last 5 years. So I basically using cloud to solve people's solution and also encourage people to use this amazing technology to help you advance your career.
Thanks, Sammy. And last but not least, we have Prasad.
Hello, everyone. I'm Prasad Rao. I started my career as a .NET developer back in 2007. And I've been mainly involved in .NET development, architecting till 2019. That's when my cloud journey started, when I joined AWS. And now I work as a principal solutions architect at AWS, helping customers migrate and modernize .NET applications on AWS.
Awesome. Okay. I'm just having a look at the comments now, and we have people who have commented where they're tuning in from. So really just people tuning in from everywhere. We have people from India, the US, Canada, Europe, Kenya, South Africa. So yeah, from all corners of the world. So welcome to the live stream, everyone. So next question I'd like to ask the panelists is around what you like doing the most in your day-to-day job. So what excites you the most? This time, let's start off with Prasad.
Sure. Yeah, as I said, in my current role, I help the customers and partners migrate and modernize their .NET applications on AWS. So it's not just .NET applications, but it's .NET applications and Microsoft workloads. So I come from a Microsoft workload background. So when there was an opening at AWS, they needed someone who has experience with .NET applications. And I was very candid in the interview saying that, no, I do not have any AWS or cloud experience, but they were fine with that. So when I came into AWS, I ramped up on AWS within the first 3 months, and I started shadowing a lot with the customers and the partners to see how they do along with my other solutions architects. And as of now, the best thing that I like about my job is the autonomy that we get in the role as a solutions architect. We get a lot of autonomy in terms of understanding what the customer requirements are, and then accordingly working backward from there to design a solution for them.
Just as a follow-up on what you said about autonomy, since I worked as a solutions architect before, I know that the role is also quite diverse, as in you get to work on a lot of different tasks, not just technical side of helping customers, but also running your own side projects and things internally within the company. And I know you, Prasad, you've launched the essay, like become an essay program. And also you've recently launched the book along with Ashish. So would you like to share a bit about the book launch and the process with coming up with that idea?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, when I started with AWS, I had zero cloud experience. And when I was able to come into AWS, a lot of my previous colleagues started reaching out to me that how can they transition their career to cloud? And that's where my mentoring journey starts. So I started helping a few of my previous colleagues and started sharing my journey on LinkedIn. That's when a lot of people started reaching out, and I started mentoring them over the weekend. But I was doing it alone, so it was not scalable. But then there were other folks in AWS who were doing it in their own capacity, like Ashish was doing similar thing, Jamila, she was doing similar things. So few of us Amazonians in UK, we came together to start a free mentoring initiative called BESA, Become a Solutions Architect. And we have been doing, like we have done 4 batches around. Each batch is of 12 weeks. 8 weeks we focus on technical, and 4 weeks we focus on behavioral. Solutions architect is not just technical, but a lot of behavioral is involved in it. Like how do you manage customer expectations? How do you do whiteboarding and other things? In that mentoring experience, the one common feedback that we have heard is there is a lot of technical material available to get into cloud, but people are still confused about the path that they should be taking to navigate the cloud career. And that's where the idea came about, if we are able to showcase the paths of other people who have been able to transition their career into cloud, or who have been excelling in their cloud career, that might be helpful to others. Like what decisions they have made, what learnings they have had, what resources they have used to transition their career. And that the book is all about compiling the stories of people at different career stages, different backgrounds that they are coming from, and different career aspirations, and putting them in a structure and showcasing their journey for everyone others to get inspired. And while writing this, me and Ashish, we have been so inspired by the journeys of everyone. Like you, Lucy, Julie, Sammy, Neil, each of you have such a unique journey, right? So it's very inspiring.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think it'll be super valuable for people who are listening to read the book. It's not live yet. I think it's going to be available for orders in a couple of hours. I think about 6 hours. So for those who are watching later on, I'll leave a link below where you can check out the book and maybe get a copy for yourself. So yeah, the book is called Cloud Career Journeys. Okay, so moving on to you, Sammy. What would you say is the most enjoyable part of your job?
I think is you got new difficulty or challenge every single day, and no two customers the same. There are some similarity, but they are different. So problem solving is like what I like to do the most. So that's what I like. So like, for example, today I may talk about helping the healthcare industry. Tomorrow it may be aerospace. And I say, I don't know aerospace. Then I say, well, you don't know anything when you're born. Just learn it. And how you learn, start learning. That's why I really enjoy the book. And also this journey is I can see the challenge I'm facing. Other people are facing similar, but you have to start your day one.
Yep. Following up from that, do you think there's been any interesting challenges recently that you'd like to share more about?
I think it's not recently. I would say the challenge is every day you have to have the mindset to change, the change mindset. I usually fix, because being an engineer, I like to fix problem, but now it's like you have to change and break. So what I find the biggest challenge is like, once we get used to do a good job at what you are doing, you do not want to change, but that prevents you to go to the next level. And that is actually stop us from doing great. You see, I have this jacket. I want to do this because I want to show, before I get this jacket, I don't think about this. Before that, I'm running marathon. Before I run marathon, 5 years before that, I make the decision I'm going to train for marathon. So same thing for the cloud journey or anyone's career. You have to think, go back. You have to think backward. What have you done make you here today? Then think forward. What should you do today to go to tomorrow? And once you have the mindset to overcome that challenge, you will be another story that everyone wants to learn from you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that sounds super inspiring. And for those who are not too sure what the golden jacket is, it's pretty much when you get all of your certifications, AWS gives you that golden jacket that you can wear. And a lot of people would wear that to events like AWS re:Event or maybe AWS summits to then show people, they have like all the certifications, and people might ask them questions and advice and tips around that. So moving on to Neil, I know we're kind of in a similar space with helping people get into the cloud and get hired. What would you say is the most enjoyable part to your job?
Well, I think I'm sure you'd agree that it's a bit of a privilege to be a full-time educator. It's fantastic. I love teaching. I love passing on what I've learned to other people. And so for me, over the last several years, mostly that's been around video training. So, and I love the creative aspects of that, where, trying to work out how can I articulate this knowledge? How can I make sure that people who come from a background where they may not understand any of what I'm talking about, and then slowly over time bring them up to speed so that they can earn their own certifications and get into the industry. So that's been something I've been really enjoying. And then over the last couple of years, we've been doing live training as well. And for me, that's been a huge change. It's something I really enjoy doing, because now you're not just pre-recording it and sending it out to the world. You're actually in front of people. You can actually have a conversation. You can actually see them progress and get to know them. So yeah, I love that aspect of the training now.
As a next question to that, do you have any kind of success stories that you'd like to share about any of your students? Maybe people who have gone through the program, or maybe bought a course and then ended up landing a cloud job?
Wow, I mean, we have so many. I mean, obviously we have a very large number of people who've bought our online training. So in that regard, it's usually just messages that we receive, in our LinkedIn or in our Slack or something like that, saying thanks so much. We see those every single day, that they've got their, passed their certifications, or they've got got through into a job as well. In our bootcamp program, we get to know people a bit better. So then we actually see the journeys. So, without mentioning any specific names, we've seen some people, for example, go from literally no background in IT whatsoever, and literally in about 3 months go into a position. That's a really fast turnaround. That's not necessarily what everyone can do, but if you put in the work, this is someone who's really highly motivated. They turn up to class, they do all the project work we assign them, have a great attitude, and it's amazing what you can do in a few months if you really sort of put yourself into that position and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's so cool how these days there's so many free resources and just the extensive amount of options available for learning cloud. I remember back then, I'm sure all of you as well, when we first started, there wasn't as many and the community wasn't, as big. So really good to see how far it's come. And I agree with you. I think it is really a privilege to be able to contribute to this full time and be able to kind of work alongside everyone and see everyone's journeys, whether that's kind of like getting a comment or maybe seeing them progress through more personal mentoring. So moving on to you, Julie, what would you say is a part of your job that you really enjoy?
Probably the learning. Because I still feel like a newbie, because most people have a lot more years of experience than I do. But to create the exam prep courses and the content, you have to have that knowledge. And so as a newbie, I'm every day dealing with that imposter syndrome. So, by, like Neil said, and you said, helping other people learn, it helps me as well. It helps me with the imposter syndrome. It helps me with my depth and my technical accuracy. on the course contents. So that's probably my favorite part. And then being involved in the community, because I always say that training is personal. I learn differently than most people. And so it's one of the things with my training that I really try to focus on is hitting that training, for like a newbie or a mid or a senior engineer level. So it's a lot of fun and daily learning. I really enjoy it.
I think I feel the same. There's always so much to learn, especially last year with all of the generative AI announcements and seeing generative AI being integrated across all these cloud services. So I'm sure there's also people who are in the chat who are already working in cloud and maybe also facing that similar dilemma of having to constantly keep up to date with things to learn. Do you have any tips, Julie, on how people can upskill and just stay up to date with the latest trends?
For me personally, it's being involved in the community. So there's all these different programs, like the AWS Community Builders is a fantastic one, or different Slack channels. But a lot of times in these communities, when you join and you participate, you'll see people ask questions that you wanted to ask, or you maybe didn't know you needed to ask. And so that takes your depth of learning a little bit deeper. And then you also build networking, and so you get new friends. And it's just a really great community. And it helps with if you are looking for a job, you can get referrals, and it just kind of escalates from there. So.
Cool. Yep. I think it's good how you mentioned the AWS Community Builders program because applications are still open for this year's intake. So in the next few moments, I'll put a link in the chat for those of you who are maybe interested in applying. So Ashish, what would you say is the most enjoyable part of being a solutions architect for you?
Yeah, for me, I've been into training a lot, and for me, it's like a dream come true, kind of, because I'm a full-time trainer, and I've been into both side of the delivery of the training when it was purely a classroom training. So we would travel to different places, go to customer environment, train them, learn from them, understand what challenges they are facing, and when you explain something to a learner and when they understand it, then you could see the light bulb moment at their face, right? Okay, I understood it now. I was struggling and you were able to help me out. So that satisfaction when you see somebody saying, hey, I understood it, thank you so much, and probably I will go ahead further and I will do something. And people, again, as Neil said, that people reach out to you that I passed certification, I was able to land a job, I was able to crack an interview. So that is what makes me feel that, okay, I'm doing something which is at least helping at least one single person, and I want to keep on doing that thing. So that is one aspect of my actual job, which I do on 8-hour basis every day. The second aspect is being in AWS, like I get a lot of flexibility. So I'm able to use similar type of resources and create it for community also. So like I hosted a resources about analogies on my website. I authored few books, and the one book we are authoring, right, we authored with Prasad, which is also in the similar line, like how can we make people's learning journey better. It could be through resources, it could be through motivation, it could be through sharing the journeys of other people like we have all here. So that's the interesting part about my job.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. I think I said solutions architect for your job, but yeah, Ashish is a technical trainer, technical instructor. So let's move on to the next question, which is around what you said, Ashish, around like the challenges that, people usually face. So I'd like to start off by asking, what are some of the challenges that all of you have encountered in your cloud career? And as a follow-up from that, how did you overcome them? Ashish, maybe we can start from you this time. So
Yeah,
what would you say
sure.
are some of the challenges?
Uh, Challenges is that in cloud the things are moving very fast pace, right? So if we are talking and some developer is developing a code and it is being pushed and there is a new feature popping up tomorrow morning. So that is one challenge, to keep up with whatever is there. And you have to accept somewhere that you can't learn everything. Like when I joined AWS, I started maintaining a list that, hey, this XYZ technology I do not know, this feature I do not know, this I do not know. over a period of time, I was not able to checkbox everything that I have learned, that I have learned, that I have learned that. I realized that it is not humanly possible to learn everything. So let me focus on my core areas. Let me work on my fundamentals first. And once I have my fundamentals right, it would be much easier for me to ramp up of anything. So that's what I started with. So challenges people face, that there are so many things within cloud where I should go. If I have to give somebody advice, I would say focus on basic fundamentals of cloud. And once you know that, ramping up of anything would be much easier in longer run.
Yep, I agree. I think that's also focusing on learning the fundamentals and just starting somewhere helps avoid that analysis paralysis of like,
Exactly.
what cloud should I learn? What certification should I do? Kind of just starting off with the basics and building up from that. What about you, Julie? What would you say are some of the challenges that you faced in your cloud career? And also, how did you manage to overcome them?
For me, being a newbie, fundamentals, because I came in as an administrative assistant, and so I was lacking basically all fundamentals. So the way I did it, and then not having an actual job in cloud, I have different projects that I work on as I'm studying for different certifications. So I sort of use certifications to go deeper, deeper, deeper. And then I had a project for every cert that I worked on to help me get that hands-on experience, because I don't have a lot of hands-on experience. So I use certification and training in my projects to kind of get that hands-on experience and get a little bit more depth in there.
Yep,
Sorry.
I think having that's okay. I think having that balance of like certifications and projects is quite important, because sometimes it's like if people heavily rely on that certification side, then forget to build projects, then like that. I guess the practical side is kind of missing. So it's good how you're able to kind of balance both and do both. And certifications, I think it really does map out this really good learning journey and learning roadmap. What about?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I passed the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate exam, like I thought that's it. Like I knew it all, I could do anything. And then when I started studying for the developers, I quickly realized how much, I still don't know how much I need to learn. And that's just kind of been a momentum. Every new certification, every new different domain is a whole nother world of depth that, I don't have and I need to learn.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's cool how there's some of these specializations as well with the certifications. So you could either just go broad or sometimes even go deeper into like a certain subject area. So for you, Neil, what would be some challenges that you faced in your cloud career? I guess even now, or maybe when you were working as an architect before?
Yeah, in fact, I might even go back further than that, along a very similar line, because I know it's relevant to so many people. Back at the very, very beginning of my career, now I didn't have a IT degree or anything like that, so I was basically just decided, right, I'm interested in the world of tech. I want to get into a job, and so certifications are going to be the way for me. And I've known other people who went along that sort of same road. So, the challenge then is, okay, well, you don't have any experience. I'm sure everyone's had to solve this problem in their career. You don't have any experience. You're super keen. You start learning. You earn some certifications. How do you get that first job? And so that was a challenge. And a bit like what Julie was talking about there, projects are something really important. So you've got to get the certifications. You've got to get the projects. So you've got to find a way to demonstrate what skills you have and what challenges that you've solved along the way. I think that's really important with project work. If you can share it online along with a story that says, I'm on this learning journey, I've built this project, and along the way I had all these problems and I had to solve this problem. This is how I did it. I came up with this solution, and this is why I came up with this solution. And then employers will look at that, and it demonstrates a lot of things. It demonstrates that you have a good attitude, that you're keen to learn, and it starts mattering a lot less that you don't have the experience. And so I think, finding ways to document that online. That's a little bit different. I had to do some more creative things at the beginning of my career. We didn't necessarily have those online tools back in the late 90s, but we do today. So I think, just finding ways to work out what you want to do, what's the job role, focus on the certifications that you need, and that's probably going to be a broad range of certifications, not just AWS. Typically need some other skills as well. And then find ways to sort of build projects, document them, share them in a way that you can then demonstrate them to employers. And that's kind of what I did. A little bit different back in the day, but that's how I got into my first job.
Awesome. Yep. I think documenting your journey is quite important. So whether that be like a personal website, a GitHub, or just posting like articles on LinkedIn or Medium. So really good advice there. And I'm glad there's those platforms now that are more tailored towards providing job seekers with the ability to be able to do that. So Sammy, what would you say are some challenges that you either face on a day-to-day now, or some challenges you face in your cloud career?
Okay, so start with this is like one of the challenges I doubt myself. Can I do this? Because I don't know. And I like I said, I'm a marathon runner. And when I start a marathon, I would just want to test myself. How far can I go? And then learn during the process. Like Julie mentioned about earlier, when I started my cloud journey 5 years ago, there's not much good material. At least I can find for a cost that I can pay. Then I find out that I have that challenge. So I want to pass the how I learned, how I failed, what can help you to speed up your journey to make your career successful. And that also translates to business success, because people don't hire you, or you don't win a contract because you have many certs. The way how fast can you learn, how can you apply those transferable skills and knowledge to the next project, because something will be new tomorrow. If it's not new, AI replace you. But on the other hand, like Prasad know, that is another thing I also want to share with other people. Do expect, just like marathon, you get injury. You will have some technology you don't understand. Instead of say, I don't understand, you say, what can I learn? Or if I don't understand, I share with other people, I don't understand, do you understand? Suddenly you find out that the whole community help you to become better. Like you can join AWS community. And for me, one of the things is I want to tell and help others to know that start your journey today, even you don't know. Do not be afraid. The whole community is going to help you. And you can go to Tech with Lucy, you can go to Passat BSA, you can run with me, Cloud or on Earth, or go to Neil. So many things. But no one can let you start your first step of a marathon if you don't move your first step. So that's basically, I think, biggest challenge I have, and also probably someone else's challenge.
Yeah, I like how you described it as a marathon, just because, it's going to be a long journey of continuous learning, and also there's going to be milestones you can celebrate on the way. And yeah, I agree with the community side as well. Don't be afraid to just reach out to people, ask questions during live streams, or just have a look at all the videos and learning resources out there. So for Prasad, for you, what would you say are some of the challenges that you faced so far in your cloud career, and how did you overcome them?
Sure. So like my biggest challenge before I started my cloud career was procrastination and imposter syndrome. I kept on, pushing, okay, I'm kind of comfortable in the current job. I don't need to learn new technology. And I was in that mindset till the time, I got a call from AWS and I'm like, shit, man, this is a real good opportunity. I should have learned something. But thankfully, like AWS was not looking for someone who was expert in cloud while they were getting in. They were wanted to have someone who has good technical knowledge. So I was able to get in. But once I got in, that's where the imposter syndrome, hit me, that everyone around me is so smart. How would I ever survive here? And the only way to overcome that was, relentless learning. In the first 3 months, it's not only just the certifications, but a lot of hands-on lab. Yeah, once you're inside AWS, you get free AWS account to do as much experiment as you want. Like I was not just limited to free tier AWS account. So the first 3 to 6 months, I used to do a lot of hands-ons for anything and everything. And networking internally, I did a lot of internal networking. Reached out to multiple solutions architect, and then I was trying to see if anyone is going into a customer meeting, can I shadow them just to learn, just to see how they work. And that helped me overcome my imposter syndrome. And even now, like, imposter syndrome stays with you because everyone around you is smarter than you. Only way you can overcome is keep speaking with other people, because other people also have a similar kind of imposter syndrome. Then you feel that, okay, you're not alone in this journey. And second, learning, keep on learning.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the challenges and also some really good advice there. Uh, I think it's important to recognize that everyone around you is also learning at the same time, and everyone has like their own pace of learning as well. But yeah, I think it's back to just the idea of community and trying to make sure that you surround yourself with people who are kind of on that same path or have the same goals as you. Uh, whether that be like in a work setting or like in like even like Slack communities and Discords that you might find where people are learning cloud. So yeah, on to the next question around advice for people who are just starting off in the cloud journey, because I think that's going to be a lot of people who are watching this live stream of how how to get into cloud in 2024, pretty much. So maybe let's start back from you, Ashish. And what would you say is the top advice you would give to people who are new to the cloud and want to upskill in the hopes of landing a job within this year or next year?
Good. So I would give a simple advice that start with a plan. If you just start randomly learning something or randomly watching a video without knowing where you are, probably it will take too much time for you to reach where you want to. So work backward, like we call in Amazon world. So just try to start working backward. See that, okay, I want to become a solution architect. I want to become a software developer. I want to become XYZ. Let's see what are the positions available for that profile and what skills they are looking for. And then I chalk out what my skills are. And then I can start looking into, okay, they require me to have knowledge of XYZ language. They want me to understand this technology. Do I know that? If not, let me start to fill that gap. So start backward, see where you want to be in maybe next 2 years and what skills may be required for it. And afterwards, start looking into that what gaps you have and what resources are available for you to fill up those gaps. So that would be first advice, to start backward. Second would be to reach out to people who are in the same role which you want to be. I would say because of this social media thing, it is so easy to reach out to anyone. And I feel that sometimes you get more help from a stranger than the person you know very much. So don't feel shy, don't hold yourself backward, let not your ego come in front that why I should reach out. Just reach out. Maybe you will not get response from everyone, maybe you try 10 times, two people would be willing to help you, and what advice they give you, what resources they share, that would be so much easier for you to follow along. So where you want to be, check that, chalk out that plan and reach out to people who are in similar role and ask for their advice. That is what I would say to anyone who want to start their journey. And I want to add one more thing here. Like all these people who are on the channel except me and Prasad, anyone who is watching it, if you want to see how these people progress to where they are, please check into the book. And in book we have, because of Lucy talked about advice, even Lucy's journey is there and it's very inspiring. So you would find in that book there is an advice section where everyone has given advice, alert and action. So something which can be tangible, which I can start with. Maybe it could be achieving a certification, maybe it would be achieving a particular course or something. So in the book you would find everyone's journey and advices, alert and action from everyone. So that could be a good motivation to get started. If you are just dragging your feet and you're feeling lost, probably you would start there. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashish. We have a few people in the comments. Thank you for your advice as well. So I think that really resonated with a lot of people. Julie, so what about you? What would you say? Doesn't have to be your like top advice or biggest advice. It could be like a few parts to it as well, because I know sometimes it's hard to just give one piece of advice. But what would you say is your kind of tips and maybe, yeah, just in general of how people can land a job this year and upskill in the cloud?
I think one of the most important things is the training course that you choose. So especially for newbies, you're going to want a course that covers fundamentals or leads you to where you can learn fundamentals. But then also, like my style of teaching is different than Neil's. It's different than other people at AWS. So my style doesn't work for everyone, but there are so many people out there that are creating training courses. You can find one that style works for you and helps, because everyone learns differently. Training and learning is personal. And then I would also check that course not only for fundamentals, but to make sure that it's updated, it's not dated, and that the content is accurate. Because when we're new, we don't know what we don't know. So if you take a course and it's dated or it has inaccurate content, we don't know that. So it's just some tips that really helped me that I kind of struggled with when I started out.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways to learn, right? There's I know now there's like even like Cloud Quest where you can embark on like a game adventure, or you can do those traditional video courses, or sometimes there's like classroom-based training. I know that in certain locations now there's even in-person like training classes. So a lot of different options, and I agree with like everyone learns differently. So just because one of your friends brought this course or like they'll learn cloud a certain way doesn't mean that it will be like the ideal path for you. So it's just kind of spending a bit more time trying to figure out what's the best way and what works for you. So Neil, what would you say is your top advice based off of all the people that you've seen gone through your different programs? What would you say? What tips would you have for them?
Yeah, so I would echo what's previously been said, which is that you've got to start with the fundamentals. And I would add on to that to say, try not to be too distracted. So there's so much distraction today. So think about what are the fundamentals. As Ashish mentioned, work out what job role you're going for. If you're more software development than solutions architecture, then it makes a bit of a difference. But it's not a massive difference. So there's a lot of commonality across different job roles. So what you want to do is try and work out exactly what are the skills I need. For example, it might be AWS, it might be a bit of Python, it might be a bit of Linux, it might be a bit of Terraform. Those are the sorts of skills you'll find across so many different job roles. So work out what are the fundamentals you need to learn and then try and focus on those. And as Julie mentioned, just find the training provider, the training courses that you like the best, that work and resonate with you, and work out a plan. So just have a good plan and stick to the plan. And then it's just a matter of time. Then it's just putting in the effort consistently and learning.
Yeah, I think what you said at the end was pretty comforting for cloud beginners, just kind of like having a plan and trusting that process that it's going to work out. Put in the time to study and you'll get the results at the end of the day. So Sammy, what would be your top advice?
I always say the 3L, which is learn, lead, and lead. And it's not just by the time you hit the lead, you're done. You go back to learn, lead, and lead. So what that means is that learning is basically find a way to get you upskill very fast. Certification is wonderful to find the gaps. You don't have the gap, you should get it. Also, but after you read the book, don't try to copy our journey. Be your own. Find out your how you work the best. And also when you learn, think business value. Technical people solve business problem. If you don't solve business problem, you don't have a job. Trust me. The second part is how you're going to leave it. Is basically you can do the project and apply what you learn to your job. But that means action. I can read all the books, how to run marathon. I don't go out and run. I'm never able to go to mile number 1 or first kilometer. And another thing is sharing. When you are enjoy what you are doing, you have to share with others, which make you become a better mentor, learner, because you have to tell how the people do. Then you find out you don't know something. Then you go back to learn, which is repeat the journey. And the more you learn, you have one more thing you're getting better. You become a better, faster learner. And that skills is most valuable than your technical skills, because that you can learn anything. And good for your career too.
Yeah, that's a good point that you mentioned with teaching. I think that's one of the best ways to learn, like learning something and then teaching kind of someone who has been in a situation like maybe 6 months ago, and then just kind of sharing that knowledge to them because it really challenges you on like whether you know everything and what gaps you have in your knowledge. Like sometimes they might ask questions on, so how does this service really work? And then you have to go back and check on the documentation to be able to answer that question for them. So Prasad, what would be your top advice for cloud learners?
Sure. So my top advice is learn in public. And this advice, I'll explain what learn in public means, but this advice comes from the distilling the entire book. So book has 16 stories. And as Ashish mentioned, each stories, we have included a section called AAA. AAA is action, advice, alert. So there are top 9 tips, top 3 actions that you can take, top 3 advice that you will get, and top 3 alerts or mistakes that you should be avoiding. Every story has these 9 tips in it from the person's individual journey. And we have 16 stories. So that makes up 16 into 9, 144 tips for you in the book. Now, obviously, there are tips that are overlapping, and more a tip is overlapped across multiple stories means more important a tip is. Now, the tip that I'm sharing, learn in public, has stuck with me because I'll share example of whether it is Daniel, who has transitioned his career from a taxi driver to a cloud engineer, or Ifyani, who has transitioned his career from a track athlete, to a cloud engineer. They have been learning in public. Whatever they have learned, the basic thing, even if they've written a hello world program in Python, they have posted it on LinkedIn or other social media channels, and they have learned in public. That has helped them with two things. First of all, they become more confident. If they are doing anything wrong, community is so helpful that they're going to tell you in private, this is how you can do it better. Don't be shy in, if what I'm posting, if it's technically wrong, community will be helpful in making you better. And thirdly, your potential employers are noticing you. Both Daniel and Ifyani had employers reaching out to them because of their social media posts and offered them jobs. So that would be my number one tip. If you're starting out and you're looking for getting a job, learn in public and don't shy away from sharing anything. And it can be the medium that you're comfortable with. It can be short form posts on LinkedIn, it can be a long form post on Medium, it can be a quick videos on YouTube, shorts on TikTok, whatever you would like, right? It doesn't matter, but put yourself out there while you are learning. Share with everyone.
Awesome. That's something I can attest to as well. I started off as an Amazon intern back then, and every part of the journey, whether that be passing certifications or sharing my reflections, I was posting that on LinkedIn. And then that kind of just progressed to YouTube videos, and then now I'm doing this full time. So it definitely can bring you a lot of different benefits, even if you don't want to in the end become like a full-time creator. I think just these days having a personal brand is just so important, and it brings about so many benefits, as you've mentioned. So yeah, I think that's about all the questions that we have prepared. I've been monitoring the comments as well. People have been thanking all of you for your responses, and also just
Lucy,
saying a lot of the
can I
content.
stop you for a minute? We want to
Sure.
learn your advice also. So yeah, we shared our advice. We want to hear your advice also. So what you would advise to someone who is starting their cloud journey? You've been an intern in AWS. You've been a solution architect. Now you're running a successful YouTube channel, full-time content. What would be your advice?
I think all of my advice has been covered throughout this live stream, which is good. But I would say just a bit of what everyone has already covered, with the emphasis of building in public, just starting out. Like instead of just thinking, what should I learn? Just like start somewhere, go broad, and then go deep after. I think seek mentorship, whether that be paid consultations or throughout the community, by reaching out to people. And also just getting your fundamentals sorted. Learn what the cloud is, why people should be learning cloud or moving on to the cloud. And then when you have that knowledge, teaching that to others. And then, because the best way to to learn is to then teach it. And hopefully in the future, for people who are watching, all of you who end up landing jobs in the cloud would then go back into the community and contribute in your own way, whether that be, as Prasad is showing, that cycle, whether that be making a YouTube channel yourself or providing mentorship to others, or maybe even building a course to share what you've learned. That's pretty much my advice as well. Just a recap of everyone else's, kind of said in my own words. That's a good time, I think, to wrap things up now. We're about 45 minutes into the live stream, and as I was mentioning earlier, thank you all so much for actively engaging in the comments. A lot of thank yous, a few questions that I'm seeing, but overall, I'm glad that everyone has enjoyed the session. And thank you all so much to all the panelists for your time today. I know we're all across different time zones, so thank you all so much for accommodating. And I'll leave in the comments as well later on just the contact details to each of the panelists if you'd like to give them a follow on LinkedIn or their other socials. But yeah, that pretty much wraps things up. Thank you so much, everyone, again for joining. And until next time, bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having us, Lucy.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you all.
you. Bye.
No
Thank you.
worries. Bye.